Alright, so now we're going to start to do the HTML for our image gallery, and we're going to create the basic file structure. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call this gallery, and then inside there, of course, we need our index HTML file. Alright, and we also need our CSS folder. We want an images folder, and we're also going to have a JavaScript folder. Alright, the JavaScript folder is basically for our Fancy Box plugin that we're going to be using, which allows us to click on an image and have it blow up, and then we can actually scroll through the images in the gallery. Alright, so what I'm going to do is open up index HTML. And get rid of these. Alright, so basic structure, we want our doc type, which is an HTML5 doc type. We want our HTML tag, and then a opening head tag. We'll have a title. We'll just call it CSS image gallery. Okay, we'll close the head, open up the body tag, close it, and close our HTML tag. Okay, so in the head area, I'm going to link our CSS file. Okay, so CSS/style.css. We're also going to be linking our Fancy Box CSS files later on, but we're not going to do that right yet. Alright, so I also want to include jQuery. So basically, jQuery is just a JavaScript library, and we can link to the remote repository, but I like to actually download a local version of jQuery and then link to it from there. So we're going to open up a script tag, and src is going to go to our JavaScript folder, and then jQuery.js. Okay, so we have to get that. And when you use a script tag, you need to have a closing tag as well. So let's get that out of the way and go ahead and download jQuery. That's not what we want. Well, we want jQuery.com. Download jQuery. Let's see, we're going to download version 1.11.1. You can get the compressed version or the uncompressed. It doesn't really matter. I'll just get the compressed. Keep. Alright, so let's go to this file. Okay. Now we just want to grab this and cut and bring it over to our JavaScript folder. And if you remember, I linked to a file called jQuery.js, so I'm just going to change the name of this to match that. Alright, so now that should be linked. And we can do a quick test to make sure that it is. So I'll open up some script tags, and if you don't know jQuery, don't worry about it. Basically, this $sign stands for jQuery, and then we can put in here whatever we want to select. We can put in classes, IDs, elements, tags themselves. In this case, we're going to say document, and then we're going to say when the document is ready. All right, so when the page is loaded, basically. Actually, hold on. When the page is loaded, we want to run a function, and then all of our jQuery would go in this block. Alright, so all I want to do here is say alert jQuery is enabled. Okay, so if we save this and open up that index file, okay, we're getting an alert that says jQuery is enabled, so everything's good. Okay, so let's go back and just get rid of this. Now for the body, this is going to be a pretty simple HTML document. We are going to use some data attributes just to pass some data to jQuery, like our categories. Each image will have a category, and also a fancy box group, so that we can have a light box pop up and you can actually scroll through the gallery. But first of all, let's just do the base structure. So we'll do a container. And in the container, we'll have a section, which is HTML5 tag. And in the section, we'll have a main div with the class of gallery. All right. Whoop. So I'm not going to add the links. I'm not going to make the images linkable right now. I just want to get the images in there, so we're going to say image src, and then it's going to go to our image folder /image1.jpg. All right. Okay, we need to actually get the images. So in our image folder, our img folder, I'm going to grab the images from the finished version. Alright, so I'm not going to grab the fancy box images yet. I just want the main gallery images and also our logo. So I'm going to grab all this and copy and paste that in here. Alright, so now let's keep going here. I think we have, what do we have, 6? Alright, so that is the main part of the gallery. Now we want navigation in the sidebar. So under the closing section div, we're going to create a nav tag with the class of main. Actually, you know what? We won't even use a class because this is the only navigation we're going to have. So we'll just use nav. Alright, so first one, I'm just going to set these links to go to JavaScript because they're not actually going to go anywhere. We're just going to be using JavaScript and jQuery to filter our images by category. Alright, so let's see, that's going to JavaScript, and this one will be view all. Let me just copy this. And again, we're going to put the attributes in later on. Okay, we're going to have for instance, we're going to have a data rel attribute here that will equal the category. Actually, we can do that now. We'll just say data rel is going to be equal to all. Okay, and then here, this will be equal to category 1. Category 2. Okay, and then let's see. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wrap the nav inside of an aside tag, which is another HTML5 tag, basically meaning sub content or sidebar. You know, things you would put in a sidebar. And let's see. Now, under the, let's see, that goes there. Div. Now all we need is a footer. So under this last div tag, I'm going to put a footer tag, and we want a container. Oops. And then I'm just going to put a paragraph. We'll say copyright 2014. Alright, so that's it for our HTML. Let's save it, take a look at it. It's not going to be too pretty. Basically, we just have all of our images at full size, and we have our links down here and our copyright. Now, we don't have that much base page CSS, so I'm going to just do it in this video along with the HTML because there's not too much of it. A lot of our time will be taken up integrating the jQuery, so the fancy box plugin and then the category selector. So let's go ahead and just add that CSS. We're going to open up the style, which we haven't created yet. So we'll name this style.css. Okay, open that up. And the first thing I want to do is zero out the padding and the margin for everything. Alright, okay, so the body, let's use an Arial font. And the background is going to be F5F3EF, which is that tannish color. Okay, we'll set a line height of 1.5 M, and the color will be a dark gray for the text. Alright, next is going to be our links in general. I'm going to set the color to 1F2C36, okay, which is basically the primary color for our template. Text decoration, I'm going to set to none. Okay, next we'll do the unordered lists and list items. We don't want any bullets, so we'll set list style to none. Okay, the header itself, we're going to give it a height. We'll give it a height of 130 pixels, and then a background of that dark blue, which is this color here. Let me just grab that. Alright, the color is going to be white, and I'm going to give it a margin bottom of 20 pixels. Okay, so the logo, did we even add the logo? Oh, we didn't even do the header. Sorry about that, guys. So right above the container, let's throw in a header tag. I felt like we were missing something. So image, src, img, logo, and we're gonna give this a class of logo. Okay, so now the logo class, I'm going to, what am I doing? I'm going to set padding. Padding top, 20 pixels. Alright, so the container, which we have quite a few of, is going to restrict the width to 80%. Okay, so this is going to be responsive, so we want to have a percentage, not a fixed width. But I do want to set a max width of 960 pixels, just so it can't just keep stretching past that. And of course we need the margin set to auto to center it, and then I'm going to say overflow auto as well. Okay, that's our container. Next, let's do the section, which is the main column where all the images are. So that's going to float to the right, and I'm going to set a width of that of 80%. And let's see, padding 20 pixels, and overflow is going to be auto. And then I want to do a box sizing just to keep the padding inside and not count it towards the width. I'm going to set it to border box. Okay. Next, the sidebar, which we used an A side tag. We want that to float to the left of the section. And I'm going to set the width of that to 20%. And let's see, padding, we'll do 20 pixels, and set the overflow to auto, and also box sizing will be border box. Okay, so that's the sidebar. So for the gallery div itself, gallery image. Okay, I'm going to set the width here to 23%. We want a row of 4. Alright, now we're going to have a little transition when we hover over it. So opacity, we're going to set to 1. And then transition, all, 1 second. And now we just need to add a hover. So gallery image, hover, and then we're going to bring the opacity down to 0.5 when hovered. And I also want to say background white. We want to be able to see white behind it. Alright, and we can keep that transition there as well. Alright, so the navigation, which is a nav tag. So nav A, which is the links themselves. I'm going to set a line height of 2.3 m, actually 2.2 m, and padding will have 10 on the top and bottom and 20 on the left and right. Alright, so I also want to style the active tab or item. So we're going to say nav a.active. Alright, and I'm going to give that a background of our primary blue color. So where is it? It's right here. Background. Okay, and the color should be white. Okay, so we're almost there. Now I want to set a hover as well. So nav a hover, and I'm just going to change the background to a gray. Okay, next we want to do the footer. I'm going to make the footer height 40 pixels, and the background is going to be that same blue color. Alright, and we want to make sure the text is white so we can see it. And I want to text align to the center. Alright, footer, and then just add a padding to the top. of 20 pixels. Alright, so let's save that. And there we go. Okay, that logo is not contained in the container. Let me see what happened here. Okay, we have header. Oh, we need to have a container. Alright, you just want to wrap the logo. Whoa. Alright, there we go. So to make it responsive, you can see I don't want it to do this. I don't want to keep 4 columns here, and I don't want the sidebar to float. We want it on top of each other. So that's pretty easy to do. Let me get rid of this quote here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a media query, and we're going to say max width 960 pixels. So this will be for everything when the width of the screen is under 960 pixels. First thing I want to do is set the container to be a little wider, so width will be 95%. Okay, the section and the A side should not be floated anymore, so we want to say float none, and width 100%. And then the images themselves, gallery image, I'm going to set a width to 49 because now we're going to have 2 columns instead of 4. And transition, actually we don't need that. That should be good. Okay, reload, and there we go. You can see we have a little effect. So that looks really good. Alright, so what we need to do next is integrate the jQuery Fancy Box plugin so that we can click on an image and then have it open bigger. So we'll do that next.